Thank you everyone for being so patient. We were having a little bit of technical difficulties, but of course we got it all figured out. I hope you guys are doing awesome. There's just something about today. I'm just so happy it's Friday. Really, really looking forward to this weekend. I know the weather is supposed to be a little chilly, and I think we've been really, really lucky throughout this winter. It hasn't been too bad, but this weekend it's supposed to be cold. So just make sure you got your propane ready, got your wood ready, prepare. I know it's already almost the end of Friday, but get yourselves ready. And what else? I can't believe it's already February. January is over. I hope you guys have so far had a really great start to the new year. I can't believe it's already February. I was thinking yesterday, like, all right, I had all these goals in place for the new year. Where do I stand? So I had to take a moment to reflect and just see, how I was doing so far and setting my goals and making sure I was following through, because I feel like this year is just going to fly by. Kind of like, well, I can't say last year flew by. It was definitely a long year. 2020 was definitely something else, but oh, what else is new with me? Mike is not here today. Definitely missing my co-host. He brings so much good energy to the show. So we're definitely missing Mike Prate today. Hope he's having a great Friday. I had a really rough night because my dog got neutered and he is 6 months old. So he's just been crying like a baby all night. I felt so bad for him. Gave him a painkiller and he finally knocked out at like 3 o'clock this morning. So of course, it's important to get your dogs spayed and neutered. With that being said, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Kathy Woodenknife. She has been doing an amazing job with her pet clinic, and I think they were having services where they were providing free spay and neuter services to your pets here on the Rosebud Sioux tribe. And man, they have been working really, really hard in making sure that program has been a success. They even gave out free pet food, and I know they were working in really cold temperatures and working from sun up to sundown. So shout out to Kathy Woodenknife. Again, I hope you guys are having a great Friday. We have a very special guest here today. We're going to talk about the child care program here on the Rosebud Sioux tribe. I'm really excited to have Gale Spotted Tail on the show with us today. I'm really excited for this show. Hello, Gale. Go ahead and turn on your camera. Let's hope that this goes smooth. Hopefully we don't run into any more technical difficulties. Hi, Gale.
Hi.
How is your Friday going?
It's going pretty good. I've been working on what I'm going to talk about today, so I'll be super relieved when I'm done. And it really did me some good though, because it made me really put the project together.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here today. I know it can be a little, make you a little nervous when you have to go on live in front of everybody, but I know your program has so many great things going on right now. So we just felt it was really important for you to come on the show and give us some updates. But first of all, we just like to hear about you and who you are. So can you just give us a little introduction about yourself?
Sure. My name is Gale Spotted Tail, and I've been working for the Child Care Services Program for the Rosebud Sioux Tribe since 1999. So it's been quite a while since I've been here.
Well, you are definitely experienced. So what kind of progress have you seen within the program in that amount of time?
I've seen quite a bit of progress because I was a one-man show. And I always like to tell the story that when I first took the job, I came back from UNL, and a lady asked me if I wanted to develop the childcare program application. So the program was handed to me with a blank application in a folder. So I had no pen, no tablet, not even a chair, an office, a phone, or a desk. I had nothing but the folder with the blank application. So I borrowed a pen and a tablet from my sister, sat across her desk, and I sat there and just got on the phone. I didn't even know what childcare was about. There was no federal regulations, there was no guidance, there was no internet. So I went from there, and today I couldn't even count the number of staff we have. Um, I don't know how much staff we have. I should have counted. We must have about 20 staff members. And we have 2 additional grants besides the childcare program grant. And we have a new daycare center.
Wow,
And we're
so
building another one.
you literally started from the ground up. So I'm sure it was pretty awesome to, take some time to build your presentation and reflect. Did it make you feel, how did it make you feel?
Well, it made me feel I need to be organized. And I need to work on that because I have quite a bit of information, especially when it comes to culture. I have quite a bit of cultural resources. And so I just need to get those organized. And I went to the university at St. Aglaska and got a BA in language and culture and history. So I saved all of my notes, and that's been quite a while ago, and I'm able to reflect back in those notes and go with what these instructors taught in those in that time. So I really rely on those, and try to go from there on which direction the program is going.
I'm really glad that you brought that up because the cultural side of things is something we see as very important. So not only are you, the child care program, but you just do so much in involving the culture and looking ahead for the next 7 generations. And that's a big part of this show. So I'm glad you brought that up. But let's talk about the program a little bit pre-pandemic, because from what I've seen on Facebook and from what I've heard, this program has been very proactive in working with the community. And for anybody who's watching and doesn't know about the child care program, can you tell us what sort of things you guys have done within the program pre-pandemic?
Okay, so pre-pandemic, and what we have been doing since the beginning is we offer childcare assistance to families who are working or in school or some type of a training program. So pre-pandemic, they had to be income eligible. So we would use a sliding fee scale and see if they're eligible for childcare. And once they are eligible, then they provide us the name of the childcare provider, the babysitter of their choice. And then we go in and we work with the provider to come into compliance with program regulations. So we got that going with the program. So a lot of the training that we do for these childcare providers are training on early childhood topics. So maybe something like medication administration and how to keep, CPR, first aid for children. I guess that would be infant child CPR. So there's a lot of training like that that are mandatory. And then we've also been conducting cultural classes. So with those, we were bringing people in to learn how to make amulets for their babies when they're born, how to make a star quilt. We've had some cultural classes in the month of November for, what is that, Native American Heritage Month. So we taught about designs, we taught things about symbolism, a lot of symbolism in our leaders' shirts, of why they would use a certain animal and what that animal's power was, and a lot of symbolism in there. And so we taught people, we just taught that in the cultural classes.
Yeah, I love that because whenever I first started hearing about those classes, I thought it was just for kids. But no, it was pretty much open to the public, right?
Yes, it's open to the public. And so we had to shut down when the pandemic came because we couldn't being here. And I had an employee, Marie Claremont, who taught people, she could sew, she can really sew. So she taught people how to sew skirts, and we host our annual youth powwow. And so this past year, we just did our 11th annual, I believe. So we were able to have our powwow, but we had to just go live, and we went through social distancing powwow. And we were able to, we usually pass out regalia to kids, maybe just a shawl or a skirt or a ribbon shirt. But we made sure that every child at the powwow received one.
Yeah, you guys were on a roll, so it was a little disappointing to see, once the pandemic hit, we couldn't get together and have those classes. But there has also been some really good things that have come out of the pandemic and even within your program. For example, I seen a post on Facebook, and I believe it was from Chicky LaPointe. She goes by Chicky. Most of you probably know her, but she had posted that she was really grateful for all that the child care program provided to her, provided her with some supplies, and she also mentioned that she was able to stay home and babysit her grandson, and that she was able to be compensated for that. So can you explain a little bit about what that was?
Sure, that's the purpose of childcare. So after the pandemic, or when the pandemic started, the government provided childcare CARES Act funds to the program. So at that point, we were able to open the program up to essential employees who were working during the pandemic. And so we had a lot more families come onto the program, and because we weren't looking at income, right? We waived those eligibility requirements due to the pandemic, and we brought on a lot more families. So our cases increased, and we were able to help families so that they can still go to work in the pandemic and not be so worried about their child. And so we were able to help those providers with a stipend so that they're able to get the childcare home cleaned. So any extra costs, like if they were renting carpet shampooers or steam cleaners for their furniture, anything to help them with sanitizing their homes. And also if they had an infant, infant and toddler, we were able to access some quality dollars so that if they needed a playpen or they needed a high chair, we were able to give them a grant so that they can provide quality childcare.
Man, that's so awesome to know that you guys were able to step up and provide those kind of services and that kind of support. It's real important, especially during the pandemic. I mean, even for single parents, it can just be really tough. So you guys have really done an amazing job in supporting these families during the pandemic. I also wanted to talk about this new groundbreaking facility. I got some big things going on. You also received a huge grant that I know was very competitive. So before we start talking about that, I want to go ahead and share my screen because you have an awesome let's see, slideshow to share. So let me see if I could get it going here. Make it as smooth as possible. All right, you guys let me know if you can see my screen. All right, can you see it?
I can see the screen.
Okay, awesome. So this is what the new facility is going to look like, right?
Yes, that is the new facility. And just for a little bit of background on why we come to the shape of the shape it's in, is because when we sat down and said we were going to build a childcare facility, we had quite a bit of ideas. And we really, of course, looked first at culture and how could we build a culturally relevant building for the teachings that we will be providing to families, children and families. So we end up with, we wanted to build a teepee, but for all the purposes and the amount of space we needed, we would have been looking at a humongous teepee. So this is like 1/4 of a teepee. And so we took the concept of a Lakota teepee and we thought, well, which part? We divided it up into 4. This would be like the west wing of a teepee. So when you enter the teepee, I guess you could see that in the northeast picture there, that little doorway there. That's where the children and families will enter the building. And so we tried to design it like a teepee, and it's kind of tough because the sitting arrangements in a teepee didn't really match our purposes. So the lower level of this building is the daycare center. So it's going to be a preschool daycare center where there's enough classroom space for 60 children. So that was kind of the idea. And if you look at the upper, I'm bad at right and left, the upper left, that's the doorway there that we will be using to enter the building, the staff and the teachers. So you're going to have childcare staff and the teachers for the center. So the doorway where the families will enter, that middle part, that is when they enter there, that's going to be like a dining room area, kitchen, so that the families will, the parents will just go that far. The children will gather there, have breakfast, and then go on into their classrooms. So the bottom left is the back side of the building. And so that building will be facing the west direction. And I forgot to say that this building will be kind of west, south, wait a minute, a little northwest from the powwow grounds here in Rosebud.
Well, it's really cool to see the thought that was put into all of this. You know, some of us might be surprised that it's not a double wide trailer.
Oh, definitely did not want to do the double wide. So the lower part of the building is the classrooms, and that's like a new daycare center. And then upstairs, the second level is the childcare administrative offices. So since I've been here, due to our lack of buildings within the tribe, we have been in such horrible office conditions. The current office experiences flooding and, you know, so we're really going to be happy to be in the upper level. And I've been in basements. So we put a lot of windows in there. So we'll have natural lighting. So you can
Yeah, this is amazing. It's even going to, you know, just change the environment of where you work. So that's really, really exciting. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide here. Do you need to stay on this one?
Well, I just wanted to talk about the bottom right. The bottom right, you see that picture of back to, if you can go back to that slide. The bottom right picture, you see towards the left, that's the basement. So that's how you can either enter the basement or leave the basement. So due to the pandemic, we did a change order to add a basement to this building. And that purpose of that basement was due to the pandemic. So if we had a sick child or adult, or that it could even be our tornado shelter, there's an exit where they can exit the building through that door. We also wanted to include in our plans that the to build a tunnel out of that basement that will come out at the outdoor classroom. And the children will come out at Wind Cave. At this point, it doesn't sound like I can afford to do it financially, but we want to be able to maybe get to it at some point.
Mhm.
So you can go ahead and change the slide. Okay, so on the left, that is actually the first floor. So I know it's really hard for you to see, but we have a room there. Childcare program, you know, we want to create this daycare center for preschool children. And we also service childcare providers who are doing like a small business in their homes. So they're watching children in their own homes. So we wanted to create a space for them. So there is a provider room located in here where they can come up, and the idea is for them to use the building for training and also to access the outdoor playground. So a lot of people don't have playgrounds in their backyards, or some communities don't even have them, but the childcare providers can come and put their things away. There's space available for them, and they can take those children outside to the outdoor classroom and they can access the playground. So I really wanted to put that out there because I think one of our last reports showed we served like 280 children. So there's so much work going into the outdoor classroom that I just wanted to make the point that it is not only for the 60 children who are enrolled in the center. So I wanted
That's
to
important to know, yes.
yeah, so I wanted to make that point. So they have their own room there, and then there's 3 classrooms, and like I said, the kitchen in the middle. There's an elevator right when you enter the building on the south part. There's an elevator right there. So the childcare staff will use that entrance, take the elevator and go up to the 2nd floor, which is going to take us to the design that's on the right. So that's the 2nd floor. That is the childcare office. So when you come up the elevator on the south side, you will see that we'll have our staff members who need to deal with the public. They'll be sitting right there at the first desk, and then to our right will be our conference room. And right next door will be a resource room. So families can come in and they can see our resource room, and maybe they need to apply for other programs. All of that information will be there. And then the offices for the childcare staff will be next. We have a break room, and we also have 3 classrooms upstairs. So I talked about how we did arts and crafts classes. We will still do those upstairs for the families. And towards the northern part of the design there, we have a big classroom up there. It is a big room, but we have something in there where we have a divider, and then there's a patio out there. So we can go outside and view the outdoor classroom if we need to.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one's nice. There's not many places here where you have a patio on the building, so that's really amazing. I saw that on the first picture.
Yeah,